3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about our good friend Kroll, who is now here, I guess. So why don't you tell us exactly what film you had us watch today?
So I had us all watch the very first Police Academy movie.
Hello.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
Crow, we can hear you.
Why are you saying hello when I'm...
And he doesn't even seem to be muted as far as we can see.
Oh, I can hear you. I don't know if the other two can.
I can hear him.
Okay. Then I guess it's something on your end, Boris, that you can't hear him.
Yeah.
You can actually hear Crow now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're interrupting me.
That's strange because I do hear you too, but I'm not hearing a single word from him.
Well, why don't you try logging out and log back in, and then I'll have Kroll begin again.
I'll try.
Anyways, go ahead, Kroll.
I was just gonna wait for him to come back.
Anyways, we are live, so we've been picking and choosing movies, and I believe we've been going along with the comedy aspect of films. Last week we did Stripes, which involved Bill Murray, and a lot of first appearances. So we were both able to watch the movie for this week, so that was a plus. Hard to believe how many of the how many movies there are in this franchise.
Yeah, they're all great. Wow. I mean, the first four are really great. The rest are good, but
And this came out in the year that I was born.
Hello.
hello.
Oh, now I can hear you.
All right, good. Now we can begin. All right, so yeah, my pick was the very first Police Academy, which is a 1984 movie about these crazy people that decide to sign up for the Police Academy, except for our main character, played by Steve Gutenberg, who is forced to join the police department because he's constantly getting into trouble. Although, as you see, when he gets in trouble this time, you kind of can't blame him. The guy deserved it. So he was parking cars, and he told the guy, there's no room, it's all full. And he's like, find a spot, dickhead, and then, and he's like, dickhead, going, then he's, yeah, butt breath, and then they start, calling all kinds of other things, and the owner comes over, and he starts shooting the shit with them, so obviously he's friends with the owner, but instead of the owner backing up his employee, backs up his friend or whatever, and tells him to park the car or he's fired, and so,
But shall we go into first impressions first?
I will. I will. I'm just on a roll. So, Um. Anyways, yeah. So he parks the car and kind of puts the car sideways and drives in and kind of smacks it onto another car. Kind of now he did deserve his car to get messed up. The other person that had the car parked there didn't. So, um,
Spudao!
but anyways, yes. But I just had to go into that a little bit because it was just kind of a thing. So yeah, and besides first impressions, I wanted to mention that it had quite a few directors as well as a huge um, cast. So 1 second.
Hugh Wilson, if I remember correctly.
Sorry, I clicked on it, but it didn't. It was showing the wrong movie. Who'd you say it was?
I said Hugh Wilson.
I guess we'll go with that.
Hugh Wilson was the director of
Yeah, Hugh Wilson. Okay,
Academy,
Hugh
and
Wilson.
he
He
also
also was one of the writers, and of course stars Kim Cattrall, um, W. Bailey, um, Bubba Smith, of course, George Gaines. He was great as the lieutenant. Andrew Rubin, David Graff, Michael Winslow, and a host of other characters. Um, yeah, it was. I love this movie myself, but let's go into everyone else's first impressions, and I'll go back to what I thought about it. All right, let's go ahead and start with you, Forever Squab. What did you think about this movie?
Well, this time you were the squab. You were by far the
Uh,
latest.
no, actually, I said I'll be late, so therefore I wasn't late because I said I'd be late. So I can't be counted as a squab because said I'd be late.
Okay. Well, this is, I think, my second time watching the movie, although the first time was so long ago I barely remembered anything from it. So, yeah, this movie I would say was, at least to my tastes, much better than the one we were doing last week. Of course, no disrespect intended to any of you, uh, but yes, I enjoyed this movie better than the one last week. There are some similarities, but this one was funnier. Although I believe there is still some specific American humor in it that I probably didn't get, that some other people probably found funnier than I did, but there still were quite several scenes that I had a good laugh with, a lot of good spoodaus. And yeah, it was an hour and a half of good fun. Maybe not something I would normally go for myself, but still some good fun.
Alrighty, is that it for you?
Is that your
Oh,
first impression?
for now, yes, I think.
All right, Tammy.
It's definitely not the first time I've seen it. I've seen it tons of times over the years. I don't remember the first time, but you know, once he started watching the first one, then all the other ones came out too, and um, I've kept up with it. It's very entertaining, humor and everything. Yeah, they're this one and all the rest they're a lot of fun to watch. So that's that's basically it. I'm just there isn't really much else to say except for that they are very humorous and entertaining. We'll get into more stuff as we get into the movie.
All right, and Dave.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when the first time I actually saw this. I think the first time I actually saw this was with Tammy. Believe it or not, it was not on. It was not on my to watch list with my parents and all that jazz. And it definitely came out during the National Lampoon era of zany comedies like from Animal House on. So there were definitely a lot of comedies that skirted the boundaries of sexual language and you know tended to go outside the norm of your regular everyday average comedy, and this was one of them. Partially because it made fun of cops in a sense, and it was kind of like your boot camp version of looking inside what it's like to be a police officer. So that being said, I do enjoy the performances in here. There are some things that are relatively funny, if not hilarious, and it is it is cool to return to it every so often, just because of the shenanigans that go on in here. So, but I find it entertaining, and I think that's pretty much it for my first impressions.
All right, and I, of course, I watched it sometime after it came out. Not in the theaters, but definitely early 80s. I came out 84, so sometime after I definitely saw it. Probably on video. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah. And I love the movie. I'm pretty sure the second movie was not out when I saw the first one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw them. I saw them pretty much when they came out. I absolutely love the movies. They're just so funny. And I do remember that after Steve Gutenberg left, I think it was he did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he left, and I was mad, and he left because he wanted to do he was busy doing Cocoon, and I remember at the time being pissed off that he did Cocoon, and watched it, and I was like, I don't like this movie, you know. I didn't even want to give it a chance because I was mad that he was doing that movie. So the Police Academy, because I felt his character was really crucial to the Police Academy movies. I mean, they were still good, but they were just so much better with him. So I was just kind of a little bit mad about that. So never gave Cocoon much of a chance. But anyways, yeah. It's definitely a huge cast. Surprised actually at the time that O.J. Simpson wasn't in it. He seemed to have been in a lot of comedies at the time, stuff like this. But I guess that's good. We don't have to see him later on, because. But anyways, and as for watching the movie, actually I think it was last year. I believe it was. I went and watched all the movies. I found them all and watched them all. So yeah, I just had felt like I hadn't seen them in a long while, and I wanted to watch them, so I watched them all again. There's definitely some good funny things in the fifth one, even though there's no Steve Gutenberg in it. But yeah, they definitely got even zanier as the time went on. But I guess.
Okay.
So, anyways, let's go into the movies. Well, into the movie. Well, as I stated, Steve Gutenberg gets in trouble, and his friend, who's a police chief, is gonna get him off the hook this time, and he wants him to go to the police academy instead of going to jail. And he's told that he can't quit, or he can get thrown out. So he's gonna do everything he can to get himself thrown out. And
Isn't it like 24 weeks or something like that?
I don't know exactly. I don't remember them saying it. If you did say it, I don't remember that.
The training is 14 weeks.
Okay. And of course, the chief or whoever tells the commandant everything. He's not happy with this. It's a female mayor making them take these cadets, and he don't like anything about him. He's kind of a racist asshole, and and then he basically tells Lasad, oh, we can't just kick them out. We have to make them quit. So this is going to be pretty interesting. So Mahoney wants to get kicked out, and they want him to quit. So you got to have some antics there.
That was already kind of announcing some hilarious stuff would happen between them.
Yeah. So then you have you have Captain Lasad, who Commandant Lasad, who's just kind of you can just kind of tell he's like kind of spacing out from what he's saying, and he's just kind of going along with him. He's like, "Oh, the bitch," and the other guy is a complete kiss up, and we're seeing more of him. But he's like, "Oh, I understand completely," He's like, "I bet you do." He knows the guy's a kiss up. That's all he does is he has his nose so far up the guy's ass it should have turned brown.
Does this Lasard guy spacing out remind you of a certain American politician nowadays whose name we maybe don't have to mention?
You mean the guy sitting in the White House right now?
Sorry, what did you say?
You mean the guy sitting in the White House right now?
Yes.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not the words you're looking for.
I didn't know we were supposed to have the Crypt Keeper as the president, but Anyways, enough about politics. So,
let's say.
Anyway, any of you guys got anything to say about that? These first few scenes.
Well, Lasard is a different character. I mean, he's definitely starts out as like a stiff dude, but he kind of changes. He kind of changes over time when he's up at the podium.
But yeah, he's a fun character. I mean, he reminds me of, well, I think he reminds me a lot of any character that Leslie Nielsen plays. Definitely the same type of role. He's likable, but definitely a little clumsy, a little bit out there, not quite knowing what's going on. Or it seems that way. Seems like he knows what's going on, but he doesn't at the same time. So yeah, he's definitely a great character in my opinion. And those poor fish, they go through a lot in these movies. But anyways, Tammy, you got anything to say about the first scenes or anyone in it?
You guys basically said it all. I mean, dude is the one dude's just big time kiss up, you know, and the one guy is like, we have, look at what things have come to. Look at these people that are, you know, trying out to be police, and he's just like totally over the top about look at this.
Yeah,
I remember when everybody had Johnson, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Where
what?
that were
Uh,
there was you looked out the window and there was Johnsons everywhere.
yeah.
yeah. Can
And the side
someone?
is sitting there doesn't have a clue what he's talking about. Like, oh yes, Johnson's everywhere.
Uh, yeah. Can someone please tell me what exactly the
A,
Johnsons
a
are?
Johnson means a penis. He was referring to that there was women out there, and he doesn't think that women should be in the police force.
Ah.
So,
Oh.
besides him
I.
being a racist prick, he's also sexist.
Right.
Ah.
The era that he came from, it was only men's. So as far as
It
you
was
looked out
men
the
and they were
window,
white,
there was Johnsons
basically.
everywhere.
Yeah. So,
Ah.
yeah. And even Lasad didn't get it either, which he should have gotten it. But they made it into a funny because he's like, oh, yes, Johnson's everywhere. It was great because basically saying dicks everywhere. It was great. So, yes. That was definitely an American thing that you probably kind of missed. Hold on.
Yeah, I was, since I am not a native English speaker, I generally tend to not know what some slangs mean, and
That's
this
okay. I'm
one.
sure there's some kids these days that would have no idea what a Johnson means either. So,
Oh, okay, then.
The only thing that would have given it away to somebody that didn't know is when he pointed to it. When he put his hand down there. And dude still didn't get when he pointed his hand
yeah.
down there and he said, Johnson, Johnson. And he pointed to his crotch and dude
Ah.
still didn't get it.
Oh. Mm.
Pretty hilarious, I think. But yeah, uh, so
Yeah, that part was really good in the opening there.
yeah, I love how Steve Gutenberg just decides to have his new friend, who he only talked to for a minute, join in the police academy. We never really had a scene where him saying, "How the heck did I get roped into this?" or anything. But they just kind of flowed with it, Um,
Well,
glad they did because
the
he's
first
such
time that you meet Larval Jones,
he's
that's there.
such a great character.
Oh,
I love
yeah,
how
he's funny.
he uses a little thing and he's like act like he's shooting up the police department. It was ducking, screaming, and the sergeant yells at him. He's like, "Stop doing that!"
Yeah.
Surprised they didn't take the thing away from him. And if you notice, he like had his one hand cuffed and the other hand wasn't even cuffed at all. Like he got out
By
of
the
it.
way, that was Michael Winslow, and he
Yeah,
was
I said that.
basically known for making sounds from his mouth.
Yeah, he had a talk show too for a
That was
while. I
his
actually didn't
gig.
watch it, but
Uh, I can make some noises with my mouth, but not quite like he can.
I can clock.
Well, we've already heard your Chewbacca, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a dick.
Yeah, or I can imitate a chicken. Okay, sorry.
Anywho, so we
We're
are slowly
listening.
introduced to the whole cast. I mean, we got Tackleberry, who was a
love
security
Tackleberry.
guard and is leaving to go to the police academy, and everyone wanted to throw a surprise party. Only they kind of got the surprise when he unloaded his gun in on the room. Luckily, somehow didn't shoot anyone because he thought they were robbers and they were robbing the place. And, you know, he's a little gun happy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You guys," when he finds out it was a surprise party.
Well, yeah.
And like,
The first time
surprise.
you see him, he's like asking, "So when did we get our guns?"
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And of course, he already has his own that are way better than the police issued one. And
Where'd you
then
get
of
this
course
gun?
we have what the heck is his name? The guy that's a klutz, who basically is the one that started the riot.
Oh,
Uh,
the fat guy.
No. The klutz.
is
The
it the
one that
guy
his wife
who's
is telling him, first begging him not to go, and she's saying, "You're such a klutz," and then he hits her with the suitcase, and then accidentally knocks her over with the car door, and
yeah.
then she chases him. Now I'm thinking, why didn't she join the police academy?
I
The guy who's
I
married.
must say that guy's wife made me think of Mrs. Baylock from The Omen when she at the end when she attacked the main character when he was trying to kill Damien, and she also jumped on his car, if I remember correctly.
Okay, I just thought she was a great character, and she's holding on to the hood the whole time. He's still driving along.
Well, I'm not saying Mrs. Baylock wasn't
Right,
a
he
great
gets in
character
that
too.
grocery go-getter.
And then of course we see the Kim Cattrall, and she's fancy girl, and she wants to go out and meet strange people that aren't like her. And of course, you know, as she's saying that, she sees the station wagon with the klutz there and his wife hanging from the hood. Literally. You know, these people aren't like us. Yeah, and of course, then we get Leslie, who's a heavy guy who's in a tiny photo booth. She actually used to have these photo booths around, and
Kodak.
it was these one-man little tiny buildings, and these kids or adults, young adults, decided to mess with him by
Hoodlums.
pulling the whole thing off and bringing it for a ride on the highway,
Decide to play
and then
acoustics with him.
dumping it in the water. And he started yelling. He's like, "You guys are gonna pay. I'll show you. You know, I'm gonna join the police academy." And he does get his revenge later, which I'm happy for. Even if it was a mistake, they deserved it. They could have said that in the first place when he said stop. Instead, they went back to their old antics and they got what they deserved. Anyways, so you guys got anything to say about the cast of characters?
The cast of characters. I mean, the rest of them. You got Hightower, which is this big monstrosity of a dude who just towers over everyone, and he is just menacing. Like at first,
Of course, he was a football player.
he is the gentlest of creatures.
I know. I love it. I mean, they don't tell you yet, but I don't know. He asked him, "What did you do before this?" "Oh, the florist." "A florist? You know, with flowers and all?" Like, and of course, you actually get to see him in the shop for a minute later. It's so funny, you know, someone like him you don't expect to see as a florist.
And you've got
And
Laverne Hooks, who's got this tiny, like winny voice. She sounds
be a
like
police
this.
officer. What? I can't hear you. I want to be a police officer. Oh, I don't even know how she does that voice.
Played by
So,
Marion Ramsey.
it's a talent right there. If you ask me, I think Tackleberry is one of my favorites too. He's just
And
so
what's funny
zany.
is Steve Gutenberg actually starred beside her in some TV movies in 2015, 2016 called Lava Lantula and Two Lava Tulantula. So,
Really.
yep. So, but yeah.
Tammy,
Oh,
anything?
and you've got the Italian dude who
I thought he was pretending to be Spanish,
I
Latino.
I thought he was Italian at first, but I guess
No,
he's
he's
Latino.
pretending to be Latino.
Oh,
George Martin.
oh yeah, that one.
Yes.
Just like I like
Yeah, he shows
moment
up with a
where the
bunch of
two
girls and
recruits,
he's like, "Who are they? My girlfriends. All of them? Yeah."
the two recruits that ended up being Lieutenant Harris's goons. He sent them to get their hair cut, and the one guy gets up into the barber
Well,
chair.
yeah. Well, they're like, "Oh, we're next," and blah blah blah, like just being nasty dickheads, you know. And he's like,
Take it
"For
off.
you, if you seem like you're very important people, I'll wait." I guess he somehow knew that they were just gonna get a buzz cut, so he just sat there and let them get their hair cut. And he's like, "Yeah, just a little up the top, please." And they're like, "You could do that." And the guy's like, "Sure, this ain't the army." Which goes back to the movie last week when I said they didn't get their hair buzzed, and they should have because they were in the army. But so just go back from last week. Tammy, did you have anything to say about our cast of characters so far?
Oh yeah, they're all definitely unique. That's for sure. I mean, um, I always forget all of their names. I mean, Hightower is a, basically this big gentle soul. You know, big gentle soul. Mahoney, of course, is the jokester.
Thompson,
Along with Lavelle, which for some reason I always forget his name. I always just call him Michael Winslow.
Barbarian.
um, yeah, they're a good pair together.
Yeah,
Martin,
I like Winslow. Yes.
Yeah,
Tackleberry,
and
Tackleberry is
Tackleberry and Hooks. Hooks is
Sergeant
the
Callahan.
Hooks is cute. I think she's funny.
yeah.
Her
Mrs.
little
Speckler.
voice.
I love it when she actually does get a voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't
Nerdy,
move,
the nerdy
dirtbag.
dude. Then you got the nerdy dude, and you got the pudgy dude, and so yeah, they're all quite a cast of characters.
Yeah, the klutz is the,
Georgina's
and Leslie is the heavy guy. What's the klutz's name? I forgot his name.
But yes, I think they're
I can't think of his name. And now Mr. Sweet Chuck's popping in my head. I'm like, no, that's from the second movie.
I think as we move along, we'll get entertained by them all. So
Oh yeah, definitely great. And Philip, anything to say about any of the cast?
Well, they were definitely fun. Maybe since the movie is titled Police Academy, I thought they would be more equally prominent among each other. Yet it somehow turned out there was much more focus on Mahoney than on anyone else. Although he was definitely funny, but I kind of wish we got to know more about the others than we did. Uh,
I think you basically get to know a lot about all of them once you watch all the movies.
oh,
Even though there's more people introduced and stuff, but you pretty much get to know them all pretty
Yeah,
well.
I was kind of surprised that Bobcat wasn't in this one.
No, you didn't start till the second one,
Yeah.
uh-huh.
and he started as a villain.
uh, yeah, but of course, Mahoney was hilarious. Then, yeah, Hooks was also interesting. It was funny how she could barely even say her name at the beginning, and at the end, she finally uh, did what she was supposed to.
Yeah,
The scene with Hightower was great at the end when they were fighting the bad guy. uh,
yeah,
then George was also hilarious. I loved his encounter with the female officer.
Have you ever
um,
gotten your brains fucked out?
oh yeah.
I think I'm in love. How many women were there? Just one. Disgusting. I know.
uh,
um,
yeah, the klutz with Mrs. Baylock wife was
Doug
funny too.
Doug Frackle, if I remember correctly.
I think I didn't memorize his name. I'm sorry.
yeah,
I
I just can't think of his name. He wasn't in the other Police Academy movies either.
Oh, how come?
I don't
Don't
know.
know why,
I don't know. He just yeah,
but,
he's
but
though. I
yeah,
think he's the only one. Yeah, him and Leslie never made it to the next ones.
Mr. and Mrs. Spackler.
Yeah, him and Leslie never made it to the other ones.
Oh, the
The third one, well, Sweet Chuck started in the second one, but actually went into the Police Academy on the third one. So he kind of replaced him, I think. Sweet Chuck was kind of a klutz too.
huh,
Um, but yeah, they kind of they dropped Leslie and they dropped him, but
uh,
everyone else is still in it.
well, that's kind of a shame. I did like Leslie too. He was funny,
Oh
and
well, they got replaced by good characters too. So we
I
get the second one. The second one was no, third one when we got Tackleberry's wife. Well, not his wife yet, but second you meet her, you're like, it's a female Tackleberry.
yeah.
Which
And of course,
I wonder if they based the characters of Tackler and his wife on the uh, wife and husband couple with Reba McEntire in Tremors. You know,
I don't know.
but
But
in any case,
so anyways, we're introduced to the whole cast, and Lasai goes out and meets them all, and then we have a scene where the dog decides he wants to lick on Combat Lassan's balls. And
that,
the what's his name? I can't think of his name either. The asshole cop, uh, the asshole
uh,
guy. He
Lieutenant Harris.
yeah, Captain Harris. That's it. He said, "Give me that dog." He's like, he's a prince to me or whatever. He makes some snide mark that it's like a gay dog. It's a dog. Dogs don't care, yeah, male or female.
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah, so we already have another funny scene there. And now, one thing I do want to say, he is an asshole, but him telling Hooks about her voice, he's 100% right. I mean, you can't tell people to stop doing what they're doing if they can't hear you. You have to have some authority in your voice. So even though he
Yeah,
was an ass, he was right when he came to Hooks. Even though I
more
liked her and didn't like him.
um more often than not, he was on us, yeah, but in that case, he did have a point, yes.
Exactly. He was right in that one case, in my opinion. So, yeah. So, we then we have them all getting assigned to their rooms, and of course Mahoney wants to be with his doctor friend. He's known his whole life, and instead he gets partnered with Tackleberry, and he's like, oh, thanks. I always wanted to have a psychopath for a roommate or something like that. And of course, Harris is like, my pleasure. Right off the bat, of course, Harris doesn't like him, and he doesn't like Harris. You can tell right away they were gonna butt heads.
Oh,
Um,
I have an idea who probably liked Harris.
who liked what?
I have an idea who probably liked Lieutenant Harris.
Yeah, the two butt sniffers.
Oh, I meant the horse.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't think you liked him too much.
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah,
a word. No, you do not tell a soul. Not a soul. No, you told a bunch of souls.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, kind of skipping ahead there. But yeah, I mean, they all get they're assigned, and then of course they start training them all, and
There is a moment where Darville Jones, he's playing video games with his mouth.
oh yeah, he's playing Space Invaders. I remember that when your ship lost, it made that little noise when it shaked screen and shimmered, and you got another character, or it's a game over. If you went to your three ships without getting an extra life.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was such a great character. And very and very helpful at getting them out of trouble near the end, right?
Right.
So yeah.
The one thing that they
to,
told him not to do, he did at the right time.
we had those two butt sniffers. They Harris decided, because they got their head shaved, and he likes that he can trust them, and he put them in charge of the crews, and basically told them, I want you to work them hard, and make them want to quit, because they're not the stock that he likes, and they're both buttwads, so they have no problem carrying out his orders, and they get a lot of what they deserve throughout the movie, and later on in other movies. The blue oyster is a running joke throughout the movies.
Yep.
The blue oyster.
That's why I posted the blue oyster on my Facebook page.
Now that makes me wonder what is worse, blue oyster or blue waffle.
Hey, blue
We're not
waffle.
going to go there.
Sorry,
Folks,
what did
if
you
you
say?
don't know what a blue waffle is, don't look it up.
I do know what it is. I'm saying
I'm not saying you. I'm saying anyone that doesn't, don't look it up.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, talking about disgusting things. So yeah, Leslie goes to Mahoney. He's asking, so where's the party going to be? And he's like, you want to go? And he's like, I can't. He's like, but I just have to know. So Mahoney figures it out. It has to be the two jackasses when I come. So he tells them it's going to be at, everyone knows it's going to be at the Blue Oyster. So, of course, he tells them, and they go in and immediately they get to start dancing with other men because they're all men dressed in like leather cop like gear.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, I was kind of surprised if that's supposed to be a gay bar that
Yes.
everyone was dressed so manly that there weren't men dressed like women and stuff like that there.
There usually isn't in a gay bar. You're confusing gay for crossdresser.
Yeah, but often I know it's not always the case, but I think it's fairly common for gay people to also be effeminate and cross dressers. I know it's not a rule,
Not
but
in any club. I've been to a couple clubs that were bi, and not in any of those
I mean,
clubs.
granted, there are some gay bars that you probably walk into and it looks like a cabaret, but
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but it didn't look anything like what was in this movie either. But yeah,
yeah, but
it
even
was more like if you watch American Wedding, when they ended up when Stifler went into the gay bar, looking for Leslie, for the dressmaker, and it was more like that, where they're all just pretty normal, guys and girls, but girls were dancing with the girls, and guys were dancing with the guys. So.
yeah, but I have often seen in movies and TV shows gay characters. Okay, they are not necessarily dressed quite like women, but they often wear eccentric clothes, like with glitter and stuff like that, which I thought would also be common in gay bars. But here, there wasn't anything
I
like
honestly think
that.
that's more of a stereotype, but I could be wrong. I mean, I don't really go visit them, but.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know it's not like all gay men are dressed like that, but I have seen a fair share of them, at least in movies and TV shows, who are like that. So I thought there would be at least some like that here, but there wasn't a single one.
no, there were definitely men in chaps, men in leather, and men in sailor suits.
Yeah, it was like the village people.
Basically.
uh, yeah, so they ended up going there, and of course, then after with her, it's like, what happened with you guys? You didn't call me all weekend. He's like, there was a party. Yes, there was a party. What happened? Just dancing, mostly just dancing. You can tell I don't want to talk about it. So that's the first little bit of revenge they got, and then of course they blame Leslie and we're gonna get you, and back to that, and hassle him, and yeah, poor Leslie, he takes so much abuse. So what's next? This is where when Harris tells Mahoney to go get his megaphone, and he's like, okay, I'll be back in 5 hours, and he's like, you'll be back in 5 minutes, and he has him put what do you have, put super glue on it or something? What was it?
I think it's like a marker type of a thing because
Okay.
it shows up on his face.
Okay, super glue was later. Sometimes you get the antics mixed up between the movies. And of course, Harris is not too laughing about that. He's makes Mahoney go has the two idiots run him all night long, and till he throws up, and then just when he's done throwing up, making him run more. And And of course, said they're happy to do the torture. Um, and yeah, then after that we have Hightower waking up Mahoney and saying he doesn't know how to drive, and so he says, "Is go and take the asshole's car," and he's like, "How am I supposed to get in here?" He's like, "Oh, you just rip the. You can always whip the seats up. We'll sit in the back." Of course, Mahoney's joking, and Hightower didn't realize he was joking. Actually, ripped him out.
I do remember the first time I watched this and he did that. I just sat there and looked like, what? He actually did take the seats out. Okay.
That was hilarious. I don't think he would have been able to get in if he hadn't, though.
Well, he
Kind
got
of a really
in,
small
but he
car.
was scrunched, you know.
Yeah. Here, he looked like he was scrunched even with taking the seats out. I love how they're driving up and then he's driving. He's like, all right, we're going. All right, there's a car in front of us. Hightower, there's a car. There's a car. Smack!
Put down.
Why didn't you stop?
You didn't tell me to.
And of course the guy gets out of the car. Why, you stupid idiot? Blah, blah, blah. Looks at Hightower and just kind of turns whiter than he already is, and goes back to his car and takes off.
Yeah, because Hightower scared him.
Yeah, well, he just looks at Hightower like, never mind.
Fuck, if this guy gets out of this car, he's going to pummel you to death.
Yeah, like, I don't even care what the damage is. I'm out of here. Hightower's defense, he didn't say anything.
Well, and shortly after that, they attract the attention of the.
Yeah, he starts driving like a maniac, and the real police start chasing them, and he ends up crashing them into other things, and leads them on a good chase, and they never meet him. Of course, they really fuck up the car and leave it on the lawn.
Yeah, that part is fucking hilarious because the one dude's like, wee, 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 wee.
But the best thing is, it happened right after Hightower pushed him over in the police car because of what he said.
Well, anyways, yeah, Hightower does ultimately pass his test with flying colors.
Yeah,
but
then, the Hooks runs over the one dude's feet, and he calls her a slur word, and Hightower does not like that. So Hightower comes down and he jumps into the police car and shuts the door, thinking that's going to protect him. And of course, Harris is like, don't do it, stand back. If you do it, you're out of here. And Hightower's like, didn't care. He flips the car over with the jackass inside.
Yeah, because he called her a jigaboo.
Yeah, so I just wasn't going to repeat it. And Hightower looks very sad when he gets kicked out, but not apologetic at all. So he gets flipped over in the car, and then he finds out what is happened to his car. And of course, they know they're like Mahoney, and so they go to Mahoney, and Mahoney's like, "Oh, it wasn't me; it was Hightower. Why don't you go talk to him about it?" But they're like, "We don't want him; we want you." So they're trying to pick a fight with him, and the one jackass picks up a bunch of things like, I'm gonna smudge these all over your face, and Leslie takes his tray and smashes him in the face, knocking the guy out. That was like the best scene right there. And so then the other jerk knocked Leslie out, and that's when Steve grabs him and throws him down. So you start to see a little bit of a fight, and then you see them in front of Harris, and Harris like, who started the fight? And the other guy's like, Leslie did. Like, Leslie? And then Steve Gutenberg's like, he's like, Mahoney, I mean, I started it. And the other one started to interrupt him, and Harris like, you started it? Like, like, so happy. You could tell the other one just shut up because you could tell that Harris wanted it to be Mahoney. And basically Mahoney's like, yes. He was like, that's it. You're out of here. Which, don't know how he ended up being in the next scene when he got kicked out. Hightower got kicked out and he actually did go back to being a florist. Mahoney got kicked out yet never ended up leaving. Yeah. So right after that, we have the Klutz in the car, and a bunch of no goods are coming over to him, trying to harass him. He's like, "Oh, is the radio too loud? I'll turn it down for you and all." And then the partner comes in, and then they walk away. He's like, "Oh, here." He's eating this big donut. He's like, "Yeah, I got you an apple." He's like, "Oh, thanks." He takes like a bite and then throws it out the window and hits one of the guys that were hassling him. And they turn around, and there's a couple other guys come up with a bag of apples, eating an apple. So they think it's this one. They start fighting. They get thrown through an arcade. People in the arcade end up stop fighting. Then a machine starts rolling down the hill, smashes into something. Yeah, so we end up starting a whole huge fucking riot because of the Klutz throwing the apple in the first place. It's actually really funny. But we just got another co-host, guys. So why don't we stop here and get his opinion of Police Academy? Was it your first time watching Police Academy, Mo?
Oh shit! I thought you guys were talking about Stripes.
Apple of Discord.
Stripes was last week.
Nope.
Police Academy rules. No,
Stripes was last week.
I've seen Police Academy a ton of times. Didn't even watch it for this. I just popped on just to say hey and share my thoughts on the film, because both films are movies that I grew up with. Police Academy is probably still one of the best like workplace comedies, I think. And both films are kind of like a good example of that time period in the 70s and 80s.
Guys, what happened? Why did everyone go quiet suddenly?
You can't hear Mo?
No, looks like something is happening with my connection again. I have to
log out and log back in.
Yeah.
That worked last time.
Anyway, they used to do a lot of like military and police comedies back in the day. And it's happened sporadically in our times, but it's like something that kind of fell out of fashion for whatever reason. Like even well before modern times. Like it just, even by the 90s.
Last good one is We Can Be Cops, I think that's what it was called. Like they played cop video games and stuff, and ended up becoming cops. That was
I have no idea. I've never seen that, but it's
hilarious.
This is definitely a relic of a bygone era, but man, do I love the Police Academy movies, and this first one is still easily top 3 for me of the whole series. It's just so goddamn good. Every character is funny. Every character is basically perfectly cast. It never fails to make me laugh. Till it almost
and everybody but two made it on to the rest of the movies too.
Dude, Police Academy has a surprising rate of cast retention throughout the franchise.
We lost Leslie, and for some reason I can't remember what's his name. But
later on, when you lose bigger people, it's like more understandable, because it's like, dude, they were here for 3 movies, but you can only do so many of these.
I was saying how much it sucked to lose Steve Gutenberg, because even though it is an ensemble cast, he's still somewhat of the main character. And that, as a matter of fact, I hated Cocoon just because I was mad that he decided
I
to do
fucking
that.
love Cocoon, but I get
But
it.
I never gave it a chance. And I admit it, I didn't give it a chance because I was mad.
Cocoon rules. I hope I get an old man boner one day
But,
from an alien pod in a swimming pool. That'd be
But
pretty
yeah,
cool.
so yeah, that's what I was saying about it. That I was mad that he continued the series because he wanted
Fair
to do
enough.
that. But
I can understand because Police Academy rules. It was one of the many joys I had as a kid as far as repeat rentals was always like plugging Police Academy sequels into like my stack of horror films. You know, they're typically a lot of times there'd be one of these, or just any number of like other 80s comedies, but Police Academy were pretty goddamn frequent in the Weekend at Bernie's movies.
And see that, folks? He was a kid watching a movie with boobs, and it wasn't a big deal.
See, I still haven't
It
seen
certainly prepared me to have them now, you know.
Yeah, and it was a big deal. I was a kid when I saw it too, you know. I mean, I was 11 when it came out. I actually didn't see it in the theater, but I was maybe probably 13 when I saw it. So you know.
Oh, is there boobs in this first one? I feel
yeah.
like that's not even like a main memory of it for me.
Yeah, when there's a shower scene when Mahoney's going by, and I think was it towards Martine, I think, or someone. One of the
Oh
others
yeah,
was,
that
was
Casanova dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was George Martin, but he changed the name to Martine so to get the ladies.
Yeah, they kind of did a Rear Window moment where you saw like a whole bunch of window scenes with girls in showers and like in
I think you're right, Dave.
Like that, so
that's all ringing a bell.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They were like it looked like they were kind of like a basement because they were looking down into them. So yeah.
This first one actually, you know, all of them have a little bit of a boner comedy tinge to them, or at least the first couple do. And that's just something that you can't have nowadays for the most part.
Nope. No.
I don't know, man. I think Police Academy, though, as far as comedy franchises, it might be one of the most consistent too. And that's because this first one sets such a high bar for it, you know.
Yeah.
Like even marginally worse than this is still pretty goddamn good. The Police Academy movies don't get bad until like the one where they go to Russia or whatever, or like the one before that, I think.
I was saying earlier that
Miami was
National Lampoon era, so the whole sexy sleaze National Lampoon era where you had Animal House, the magazine, Mad Magazine, you know,
Porky's,
Cracked.
Yeah, I mean, you had Porky's, you had Nerds, you had, you know,
Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Yeah, comedy franchises are kind of a dead thing, and were for most of our life, you know. Like we were lucky if we got 2 or 3 movies in a comedy series.
I mean,
but back in the day,
the one that we had was Scary Movie, if I remember correctly.
That doesn't count. I don't count the parody stuff, because that's unlimited by its nature. But like American Pie would probably be the best example of a modern comedy franchise that went the distance, you know. What's there, like 5 or 6 of those movies or something?
There's actually 9 of them.
Oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the offshoots. I've only seen the main ones.
And American Pie, actually.
American Wedding, American Reunion. So
dude, Police Academy is one of those rare comedies that's kind of raunchy and like I guess risque or not edgy or whatever, but like your parents loved it too.
Yeah.
You know, you can watch this movie with like any crowd of people and they're going to enjoy some level of it, you know. I'd say even nowadays, you know, because it's not one of those movies. I don't know if my
grandmother would like seeing at least the naked part.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we see parts in movies we don't like all the time. Doesn't mean we don't like the whole movie, right? Your grandma probably would have enjoyed Police Academy.
Yeah, I don't really know if she ever saw it or if she liked it or not.
I don't think I've ever watched it with somebody that didn't laugh at it. And there is other movies that I find hilarious that I've
I know
definitely
I'll laugh
watched
your
with
head off,
people that
but-
didn't find it funny. But Police Academy, because it has that ensemble cast you mentioned, it has a character that anyone can find funny, you know.
Personally, I think many characters are funny, but yeah. But anyways, we kind of been going through the movie.
Go for it.
We're up to kind of when the riot, the clutch starts the riot, and that's what where you came in. What do you think about the cast of characters, or anything happened up until then? No?
It's all amazing, dude. The chief is probably my favorite character of the Police Academy.
The Commandant?
Yeah, with his goldfish.
Yeah, those poor goldfish go through a lot in the
dude,
movies.
when he gets that blowjob, oh my god, that is one of those scenes that still to this day like doubles me over in laughter because
that is when I think of Police Academy, that is one of the scenes I think about.
And when he looks back and it's Steve Guttenberger popping out of the podium, that is just fun.
It's such the perfect touch on the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's never in my life had I wondered how I would handle getting a surprise blowjob under various circumstances. But as I got older and thought about Police Academy, it's like it makes you wonder, you know. And I've had it offered a couple of times. And it's like,
I love how he reacts to it. It's like Mahoney's done something. Well, he's done something. He's something horrible. Well, what did he do? I don't know.
Well, and that's dude, it's funny, but at the same time, like when you really think about it, it's kind of fucked up too. Like he was sexually assaulted, you know, presumably by another man that is.
When he sees Mahoney kissing Kim Cattrall's character, and he's like, "Oh, that's better."
Yes, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he never does find out that it was a hooker under there too.
I think he did find out because at the end he set the same hooker up for Mahoney.
Oh, okay. He must have found out later.
Great observation, Boris.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I would have to say George Gaines is kind of a staple of the Police Academy.
Oh, definitely.
He's in there up until the 6th.
Well, he's not really in the second one. He's in it briefly to set up the movie, and
well, he's in there, you know. I mean, you got to have a little bit of the commandant.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. I
love all the characters. I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you, but my point was more so that, like, even if you're like a stuffy old person or like somebody different sensibilities, there's going to be at least one or two characters in Police Academy that you find funny. One of the funniest scenes is that dude's fucking wife like chasing him in the station wagon, and she's like fucking just all of a sudden becomes a superhero basically.
That's what I said. I was like, why didn't she apply for the Police Academy?
Yeah, she's been way better.
She does this fucking triathlon trying to chase him.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
I did not realize that this actually had a TV series.
Yeah, I always when I was looking for the movie, I found the TV series. I'm like, there's a TV series?
Dude, Police Academy, if this movie was released without changing anything today, it would be accused of being woke garbage.
It wouldn't make it. I mean, like we had discussed, you missed it, but when
even if they made it, the
captain was telling
for sure, like there's those scenes
look at these recruits, and he basically was saying, you know, there's women and there's colored people here, and it was horrible. You know, it was they definitely wouldn't fly today. Yeah.
As I usually say, it's never a movie that didn't age well. What didn't age well is the society that became retarded enough to get offended by a piece
I don't know
of
if that's 100% true in all cases, but I generally agree with what you said there, Boris. I think that you could get away with a lot of this today. People are doing it. I watch it all the time. It's but there's certain things in this, because the movie was progressive, whether you want to accept it or not. I mean, there's very serious jabs taken at skinhead culture and racism in the movie that nowadays would get it, though, at least those portions of it, labeled as woke garbage. If anything, it would be divisive. You know, the super woke people would be offended by it, and then like
The woke people should get a punch in the teeth so they shut
whatever.
their
My
retarded
point
mouths
is,
up.
see, you're diluting what I'm trying to say here. My point is the movie would divide people, because you'd have the people on your side of it that are like, oh, there's things in it that are considered offensive today. But then the people that are against any type of wokeness would be mad at like the racist dudes getting their comeuppance or all that shit, you know, like the very focus on making black people look, you know, like normal, accepted parts of society, you know. Police Academy was pretty fucking progressive for its time.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Well, I know these days some people get annoyed by the omnipresence of black people in movies and TV shows because the woke culture forces it. But there have been actually black people in movies and shows before, and it was
It's always been
never
a
a big deal.
It should be more of a
What
thing.
people,
I mean,
what
you
the
know,
big deal? What the big deal is when they take a character and they just swap the skin for someone else instead of showcasing a character that already is black or making a new character. They just decide to change.
yeah, I mean, we could get in the
That's what
weeds.
pisses people off.
We could get in the weeds about that all day. I wasn't trying to
Yep.
make it a political thing. I was
Yeah.
just trying to say that
I
this
just
is a
wanted to
movie
point that out
that would
because it pisses
divide
me off
people.
too,
Uh,
and it pisses off people that are of color too, because you know they don't want some changed character. They want their own characters as well. They should, you know. It's stupid.
You just got to decide how you feel about stuff and stand by it. You know, the more I've retrospected on life in general and opinions on movies and stuff, especially while out fishing lately, it's, you know, at the end of the day, nobody really gives a fuck what any of our opinions on this are, you know. So if you feel a certain way, I guess stand by it. Just have logic to go with it and don't be closed off to other things. I mean, I don't care about all that political stuff with movies. I think that it's like cool to see black people in movies and white. I just like seeing movies.
I
I
have no
don't
problem.
really care. But
I love seeing everybody in
my
all
point
different-
was just that this is a movie that would definitely divide people now because it's got that edgy humor. So people like the ultra woke would say that it's offensive, but then it's also got progressive social messages. So people that are anti-woke would say that it was woke libtard garbage. And unfortunately, everybody has lost the ability to just look beyond that and watch a fucking movie, you know? Like, does it really matter what their intent? How do you feel about the characters in the movie? Just watch the fucking movie, as a piece of fiction, and then decide how you feel about it, and then look into the people that did it. Everybody does it the opposite way. I never knew fuck all about George Romero as a kid. I just watched the zombie movies, and then I was like, oh, these are pretty cool. And so then I looked into the guy, and it was like, it turns out I don't believe half the shit this guy talks about, you know, but
I don't know nothing.
I still like his movies. I mean,
I just know he makes awesome zombie movies.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, the art exists independent of the person after it's created. So
I've always said that.
You're able to feel about it how you want to feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, Police Academy, though, is a bit of dumb fun that we need more of in the world nowadays, I think. We don't have enough movies like Police Academy. Everything's all heavy or full of, you know, if you're going to make it full of social commentary, temper it with some edgy, fun humor, too, so that we can all have fun instead of feeling like we're being preached to. You know?
Definitely. But what do we think about that riot that was going on? I mean,
That's fucking awesome.
It was a riot.
Oh, yeah. A literal apple of discord.
Yeah, all over. Yeah, the Klutz starts the riot, and of course, like I said, somehow Mahoney, even though he was fired, he still ends up being involved, and of course, and they Assad tells them the coordinates, and they're like, "Are you sure on the coordinates?" "Oh yes, I don't forget a number." And of course, he gives them the wrong coordinates, and they end up being right in front of where the riot is. So then the police end up telling them,
Shit.
we're
Sorry.
pulling out. You better get out of here." The actual police
I'm a
are
bit
pulling
rusty.
out.
I should have muted that shit.
And it happens. And
Cool.
so, yeah, they end up getting into trouble, and Leslie ends up being chased down, and he's running away, and then he runs into those assholes from the beginning, and it looks like they're stealing stuff, so he tells them to put it down, and so they decide to hassle him, and he ends up putting his gun away, and then kicking the shit out of them, and then he tells them, "Now put that stuff back in the house, but it's ours." Oops. But you know what? They fucking deserved it. Very happy that he did that. Even if it was a mistake, they should have said that in the first place instead of being the assholes that they were. Of course, they deserved to get their asses kicked, and that's what happened. And I love how right in the middle of him being chased, he stopped to do that too. And everyone else is being chased, and of course the two jackasses are harassing these criminals behind these chain fences, thinking that they're safe because they're behind the chain fence, and then all of a sudden there's a huge hole in the chain fence, like where there would be a doorway or something, a gate. I mean, and the head bad guy just grabs their guns and they run away screaming like little girls. And of course that comes into play a little bit later, and so we Harris ends up getting kidnapped. Mahoney tries to save him, gets himself kidnapped too. And then Hightower, who was back in the flower shop after getting kicked out for flipping the car over, and he sees what's going on. He decides he's going to help. Even though he can't stand Harris, he's still going to help. And he goes up and acts like he's part of him, wants to see him off the two pigs. And the guy's like, sure. And he ends up knocking the guy out, saving the day, and saving Mahoney and Harris. And not only gets reinstated, but him and Mahoney ends up getting a reward. It's almost the same ending as Star Wars. And with awards. Except we get a kiss here.
No, but Mahoney definitely gets some kind of a kiss up at the podium.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I said Star Wars, we didn't get the kiss in this movie. So but we got a kiss in this one.
I like what you're doing. Like what you're putting out there.
He was saying
Good stuff.
The comment was happy that Mahoney was kissing a girl instead of a guy because he thought he blew him. So great scene. Anyways, what do you guys think about the final scene? Any final thoughts?
Well, I do like how Hooker gets up and says you Hooks gets
you dirtbag.
up in his face is like freeze, you dirtbag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she has a few good scenes in the other movies too.
But the riot scene and the end scene were definitely somewhat enjoyable, and Hightower gets his revenge in a sense, but he also shows his massive strength and his massive presence all throughout the film. I think he's part of what makes this movie funny too. He doesn't really even have to like make a joke. All he has to do is just be this massive Hulk standing there, and he makes people laugh. You know.
What was it? Yeah, when Leslie said, if I, you know, he didn't make it, I thought he was the only one who would. And he's like, if they all looked like him, there wouldn't be any crime.
But yeah, that's what how I feel about the last few scenes. I mean, it's just something to laugh at and remember some of the scenes for what they were. I mean, there's a whole bunch more that I could probably say about the movie, but it was not meant to be a serious thing at all. It was all like, probably a lot of it was improv, you know, just like Stripes was. So probably a lot of it was made up on the spot. Ad-lib.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm pretty
Maybe.
sure I heard Michael Winslow did some so
That would make sense, yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Not sure who else did or if anyone else did, but yeah, there was a lot of ad libs in the 80s movies, and you know, the directors and writers and stuff just let them go. You know, I mean, Robin Williams would just go at it. I mean, he was famous for it. Yeah.
Well, that's just generally how comedy movies have always worked, but they just don't really make them that much anymore.
Yeah, they don't make them like that. In another case, so they don't make them like they used to.
I don't think they really make them at all. I mean, what was the last like big successful comedy movie? I can't even remember what it was anymore.
The last one that I remember actually watching, I think The Girl Next Door. That was
that might be one of the last ones. That was a huge hit.
That didn't really go like into any sequels, but that was the last one that I remember.
It was a great movie, but
a boner comedy.
Neighbors and Neighbors 2 was pretty damn funny.
Neighbors was, I mean, again, you know, like a lot of those Seth Rogen ones are in the years where we were really celebrating like that comedy as being mediocre successes, you know, like they weren't huge hits. They were just basically hot summer movies, you know, everybody went and saw them. But our personal thing aside, you know, it's like comedy is really unfortunately not successful in Hollywood anymore, so we don't really get those movies.
Well, even when
that did get a second one,
comedy, so it doesn't even land the greatest either. At least to me, I haven't really.
Depends. Apparently, that Burt Kreischer movie is doing pretty good, The Machine or whatever. So hopefully, that's a return to form. Like they said, everybody that goes and sees that is supporting like raunchy fun comedies. So if you want more of those, pay some kind of money for The Machine so that you can get more of them. That's how that works, you know. If 1 million people didn't go see Dumb and Dumber or whatever, we wouldn't have gotten more of those kind of movies. People also don't go watch comedy in the theater most of the time anymore.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you wait and you watch it at home. I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but that's how you stop more of them from getting made, right?
Yeah, you're right. You are definitely right. That was always my argument with people saying, "Oh, I don't want to give most money and pay for Disney Plus and blah blah blah." I'm like, everyone felt that way. We won't have this TV shows for you to go steal somewhere else.
It all comes down to voting with your dollar. I mean,
you know,
we want more of that stuff.
I may not be happy with everything Disney does, but that doesn't mean I don't love the Disney property. I've always loved Disney property. I always will.
I think the last television thing that was somewhat comedic was Sir Galahad. I think that was something that was on the bit of zaniness that came from this vein of comedy. Not sure if you guys have ever seen that.
What movie?
It was
Yeah,
not a movie; it was a miniseries of
What
sorts.
is it called?
Yeah, I think it was called Sir Galahad, or let's see, Sir.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Trying to think of what it was. It wasn't Galahad. It was Sir something or other. Trying to remember because it was some time ago.
Well, while you're thinking on that, why don't we discuss what we thought about the film, how it was made, production. So why don't we start with you, Tammy? What do you think of the production?
Tammy, hello, hoot hoot.
Tammy.
Tammy, you're on mute.
Oh yeah.
Let me see if I can't get her.
All right, folks. Another interruption. Sorry about that.
it happens. I actually have to take off, so it was nice talking to you guys.
All right, thanks
I'll
for
see you
jumping
soon.
in.
Okay, it was nice
Well,
to
tell
see
us
you
real
too.
quick, if you had to say a favorite character or two favorite
Oh.
characters, what would yours be?
Oh,
Oh, the commandant. What's up, Tammy?
And favorite scene?
All the blowjob scene.
Pretty much the same. All right. Thanks, Bo.
bye.
Yes, good night. Later.
Night.
Bye.
So, Tammy, you found your voice.
Yeah.
What do you think about production?
Huh?
What did you think about the production?
Production? I thought it was good. I mean, there wasn't really much to do as far as outrageous stuff, as far as that goes, you didn't have um
CGI and stuff.
right, there wasn't, no, thank you, that's what I was thinking of. It wasn't really a movie for CGI type stuff. So, it was just like your down to earth, like, hey, comedy. This can happen, that can happen, this antic and that antic, and that was that. So I thought production was fine.
All right. Dave?
As far as production goes, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you got the sense that you were at a police academy, definitely, and you had the different characters, and I think you at least had to believe that these guys were going through like a training course. So yeah, I thought that production was pretty darn good. I mean, you even had some believable stiffs that were going along with Lasad as he was trying to present his enlightening slideshow. So definitely had a blast with what they were able to create. So yeah.
All right. And Boris?
Well, pretty much like Tammy, I thought the production was fine. Yeah, the movie being what it is, it doesn't really require much special effects and stuff, but I guess there were some things that might have been a little bit trickier to shoot, like the lieutenant flying into the horse's ass. And although we didn't directly see that on screen, but still there was the shot of him uh, getting catapulted and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess some of it maybe was a little bit difficult to shot, so it was pretty well done, I think. There were quite several good spudouts that I really enjoyed. uh, and yeah, I think that would be it.
All right, and yeah, I agree. It wasn't a lot, but there was a few good chase scenes. So you know, they did a really good job capturing the era. I mean, it was made in the '80s, so that makes it a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, the clothes, the whole riot, everything. They definitely did a really good job capturing that time period. It was really, really detailed to the time period. Uh, so I really like that. And it has a little food for thought. I just heard recently that the cameras they used in Hollywood 20 years ago, which this is way more than 20 years ago, our phones are better. Our cameras on our phones are better than what they used in Hollywood. So
Hmm.
just think about that while you're watching these movies and all the tricks they did, that the camera on your phone is better. Way better, because it was better 20 years ago, and this was way more than 20 years ago. So just I just wanted to point that out. So think for how good of a job they did, because the cameras weren't anything like they are now. So yeah, even our phones have better cameras. So all right, and all right, let's move on to our favorite characters and favorite scenes. Let's go ahead and start with you, Dave.
I would have to say Tackleberry.
Tackleberry.
Tackleberry is one of my favorites in here. Also, Darvell Jones.
Lavel.
I love both of them as side characters. I definitely get into Lasad, especially the way that he could take a blowjob. But
he kept on tripping along.
he was a trooper. He was definitely a trooper. He could almost keep a straight face. Almost.
Yep.
But it was quite something, you know. But I'm I'm on the fence on some of the others, but Hightower and believe Hooks are like my secondaries at least in here. Not a big fan of Gutenberger myself, so I don't know why I never got into him per se, but just not. But I enjoy these movies and what they were, and I do think that Gutenberger's acting was better in these movies than
Gutenberg.
later movies. But favorite scene? Oh God, I think my favorite scene is actually when Hightower takes out the two seats and goes for a ride, and then he comes back and passes the thing with flying colors. I think that's my favorite scene.
All right. And Boris.
Well, my favorite character would probably be Mahoney, although Larmel comes as a close second. I really loved his noises that he was making. Um, Although many others were funny too, but yeah, if I have to choose, these would be the ones I choose. And favorite scenes, well, the horse scene was brilliant, especially because that lieutenant really deserved it.
I I I, I have to say that that horse scene when he goes on that motorcycle and gets his head stuck in the horse's ass.
Yes.
That's like a second a second favorite.
That's definitely a great scene.
Uh,
I mean, he is an horse's ass, and they proved it.
yeah, anas for anas.
uh,
uh, although,
a horse's ass for a horse's ass.
yeah. Although the riot scene was also pretty damn funny. And the blow job, of course. But if I have to choose one, uh, probably the horse scene.
Okay. And how about you, Tammy?
My favorite character is is it Winslow is the one that makes the noises.
Yeah, that's Lavelle. Michael
Yes,
Winslow is his real name, but Lavelle is his character.
yes.
Lavelle Jones. Dr. Jones.
That he he's my favorite character because I just love all the little noises he makes, and he makes them at the right time, and all the little antics, the things that happen because he makes noises and all that. It's just I get a kick out of him. And geez, favorite scene. Well, there's like so many. Um, I mean, of course, you guys have mentioned the horse bit, and um, I think my favorite scene is when the blowjob scene. Just, I mean, how he keeps carrying on through the whole thing, and it's just like, and then when Mahoney pokes his head out, it's like that's like priceless.
Oh yeah, sorry for interrupting. Another scene I found really funny was when Harris told Mahoney, "No one screws with me," and Mahoney said something like, "That might change
That's okay. It'll change.
if we find you a girl," or something like that. I can't
Yeah,
remember word by word how he said it, but you know what I mean.
yeah, that was funny.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of good ones. So I mean, but yeah, that one has always stuck out. So I'll go with that one.
Okay, and as for me, yeah, I have to agree with for favorite scene, Tammy and Mo. The blowjob scene is just the best. I mean, the other scenes are great. I mean, the Harris and the ass is great, and the car scene. They're all great. They're all funny. But yeah, that blowjob scene is just absolutely a riot. And like I said, every time I think of this movie, that's the first one here. That scene pops up in my mind. Um, yeah. Um, and as far as favorite character, yeah, I have to again agree with just about everybody. Yeah, LaBelle uh, is definitely great. Great, LaBelle Jones is great a character. I absolutely love him. But I also love Mahoney. Steve Gutenberg is awesome. I love him all his movies, with the exception of Cocoon. But I was bitter. So yeah, Short Circuit was great. Like I said, I don't think I've saw any movies I didn't like him in. That I actually really saw. um, so yeah, I love all the characters. I mean, they had a great bunch of ensemble characters. Tackleberry, everybody was great. Oh, George Martin, I don't think he made it either
Oh.
afterwards either. I don't think his character made it either. So we lost 3 of them. Still not bad considering the big cast. It's not bad to lose 3. I mean, even American Pie, we lost a few, and you know, so it happens. But yeah, it was great movies. Great movies. Maybe sometime we'll get a chance to watch some of the others. I think that'd be good. So, anyways, what do we? Who's up next? Tammy, you next, or is Philip next?
I already did mine.
Oh
I
no,
think
Dave's
Dave
next.
is-
So, Dave, what are we watching next week?
I believe we are going to be discussing a blaxploitation movie called Soul Vengeance,
What's it
otherwise
called?
known as Welcome Home, Brother Charles.
Oh, I think that one is going to be funny.
It's
Jamal,
called Welcome Home, Brother Charles.
it's called that as well, but it's called Soul Vengeance.
I haven't watched it, but based on what I read on IMDb last time you mentioned it, sounds like it might be funny.
Well, that's why cinema is subversive. I know it's definitely one of the weirdest blaxploitation movies that I have come across. I did not say it was the best, nor did I say it was the worst, but I thought it might be good to come on and talk about, since I like my weird movies. So, but in any case, hopefully you come back and we haven't scared you off, and let us know down in the comments what you thought of our discussion.
We'll definitely scare you off next week.
Possibly.
Well, we'll definitely see. But thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. And I guess at this moment, we'll say good night to you all. And have a good week.
Good night.
Good night.
Sprow.
Spudao! Hoot, hoot.